Why, hello everybody, and welcome to another video brought to you by me, VintageElectronicsGeek.com here. Jack. That's what you can call me, Jack. Which is pretty good because, well, you know, that's my name. In today's video, we're going to talk about, well, as you can tell by the title, by something, my new video card. In a post earlier, I made a comment in reference of needing to buy a new video card because the old one was choking and sputtering trying to edit trying to edit 5 cameras at one time in multicam. Just wasn't getting it. When I purchased, when I built my computer about 4 years ago, the computer was built for photo editing and not video. But I had built it up pretty good. Not being a gamer, I don't believe in games. Games are for children in my opinion. But that's neither here nor there. Built it up for photo editing. It's done a fantastic job. And wasn't until starting to do more than a couple cameras at once in my video editor that I started to experience a problem. So after doing a lot of research, trying to find out what video card will work out perfect for my NLE, which stands for non-linear editor, which is a fancy way of saying video editor. NLE is just basically a non-destructive video editor. So after going through all the research and everything, I finally came down to what would work perfectly in my one application that I needed a better video card for. And then I come down to, where is it to purchase said video card for not only price, but for warranty. Generally, I go to Tiger Direct or Best Buy, but during this instance, it didn't make sense. Either they didn't have, or the pricing scheme was too crazy. The cost of the card was crazy enough. Out the door with warranty, 4-year extended warranty, and 2-day shipping. I paid over $600 for this video card. So hopefully it'll work out just fine. You see this video card in the box. I'm not really going to do an unboxing. I don't really like unboxing. So let me go ahead and pull it out of this brown box and we'll come right back to it. Have it out of the brown box, which is kind of obvious. You could see that. And I have to tell you, this is a heavy video card. Not to mention, if it's anything as big as this box, that's humongous. Give an example. That's a 1-foot ruler. Humongous. Had kind of already had an idea that it might be, but I didn't really realize the girth of it, the size of it until, or I should say the weight of it until just now. Let's go ahead and take this out of its container and see what it looks like from there. I'll say this right here about trying to get this out of the box. It was a pain in the backside, something fierce. I don't know why they make these boxes so doggone hard to get out. There are people like me who like to keep the box and not tear it up. Later on down the road, there's a resale value that aids to a bigger pricing scheme if you have all the original package. What you're looking at here on the side of the box is the only way I was able to get this container out of the outside box. And that was holding on to the outside box the best I could. And then I had to punch this box in order to get it out of the other one. And so that's what you're seeing there from me punching this stupid thing. I don't know how it's going to get back in, to tell you the truth. Anyway, so this is what the inside box looks like. Snazzy. You'd think for the price that these things sell for, you'd get at least gold. But believe it or not, there's another version above this that's a little more spendier. And I thought about going with that model, the 1080, but after doing lengthy research, I find that the 1080 has issues when it comes to Adobe Premiere Pro, which is what I use for editing. When it comes to review of the 1070 and the 1080, as far as Adobe Premiere is concerned, or anything outside of gaming, there's hardly any reviews. I have no idea what's so exciting about playing some stupid little game, but apparently it's all the rage. I don't get it. So if you're looking for a game review, test, sample, or anything like that in this video, there's not going to be one. Absolutely not. So let's go ahead and move forward. I have not opened this up out of the box yet, so we're going to do that right now. Oh, look. Yeah, that's a big fat meaty envelope. We have I don't know what this is. Now you gotta be kidding me. Some kind of big stupid poster. I have a feeling it's probably game related. Yeah, who cares? Not for me. I'd like to think one of these is the driver. User's guide. Stickers. I guess it's fast. And then the little piece of paper that fell on the ground is just a thank you for purchasing our product. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I've already downloaded the driver, current driver for this, but at this point in time there's not even a driver included. I would like to think that they put it in here and not in with the card. And again, maybe they think that, hey, the driver updates so much, so fast, let's not. But then again, I keep coming back with the price that I paid for this. Why not? I think I needed a driver more than I needed a poster. I know it almost sounds like I'm angry in this video, but I'm not. A little frustrated that it took so hard, so much to get this out of the box. So anyway, we got a lovely piece of black foam. And in case you haven't noticed, this is the black edition. And then moment I'm sure somebody's been waiting for. The video card. So if my arms are out of the way, you can see exactly how big this thing is. It's a large video card, dual bay. That's okay because my other one, actually I think this is 2.5 bay. My old video card takes up a bay as well, or 2 bays. God, I'm sucking during this video for some reason. We got cables because this thing requires 2 power adapters to make work. So that's it. And here we have it outside of the packaging and all that good stuff. Like I said, this thing's very meaty, very girthy. Has a lot of weight to it. It has independent lights up here so you could see at a visual if you have any problems with it. Two fans that work independent. We have one that goes over the GPU itself, and then one over the RAM. This card has 8 gigs of DDR5 RAM. And if your case don't have an opening where you can see these lights, the software, you'll be able to monitor it in the software. Speaking of lights, all this white stuff, those are lights. This thing is going to be so doggone bright, but I guess you could turn all this off. It's multicolor, so you could change the color scheme to your liking. Here's a close-up look of the back end with all those aluminum knobs and bits and pieces. And basically what that's for is all for the cooling process. They're trying to give you more cooling surface. The holes there are to help push the hot air out through the fins. This is the second rendition of this. I think this one just came out in October of 2017. This is the, what is it, the FTW2 rendition. And the first renditions, of course I don't know this firsthand, just research I found. Just did not have enough contact points and they overheated. So with all that, all the upgrades, I guess it's supposed to be a lot better now. Yeah, FTW2. So we have one HDMI, we've got 3 the DPI, whatever that is, and then 1 DVI. You can run, they say, 4 monitors at one time. The back plate here is a big chunk of aluminum, I believe. Yeah, big aluminum. Alright, so let me tear my old one out and put this in and let's see what it does. Alright, so I've got the computer cleaned out, blown out. I have the new video card installed. It was a pain in the rump roast to get this one screw put back into place. And I do apologize that I don't have you zoomed in. I actually have the kind of doing this in the blind. I got the camera way behind me and I don't have it hooked up to my monitor because it's just kind of in the way right now. So you have to believe me. Problem I'm running into is this new video card requires 2 PCIe power supply taps, whereas the old one only took a singular. Now my power supply is a Corsair AX1200. It's a 1200 watt power supply. More than enough to run this. They require they want a 500 watt maximum power supply. I'm sorry, at least a 500 watt power supply, because this is going to draw 180 watts on its own. This is a modular power supply, and I'd zoom you in, but like I said, I really can't see where I'm zooming and the camera's way over there and I can't reach it to move it where I need. With the modular pins on the power supply, I've only installed what I needed at the time I built this. I couldn't see shoving a bunch of unneeded wire in there and just letting it set. So I'd set it aside in its own little carrying case that it came with. The problem is this: I don't know where I put the case at. Yes, I still have the case. Yes, I still have all the wires. I just don't know where it's at. So I ran down to my local my local electronics store, and I picked up a couple of jumpers that was supposed to work. They did not. So since that was about 15 miles one way from me last night, I didn't want to run back down there and swap them out. It was late, I was tired, and just didn't want to dork with it. So I went back this morning to pick up the wires. They didn't have the modular wire that I needed to go from the power supply into the GPU. which is a cable, an end that looks very similar to this. I thought I was on the right track, even though they didn't have one that would actually plug into the power supply, but yet one to plug into the card. I thought, well, I mean a double-headed one. So I thought this here would work out fine. I could run from the power supply, like, you know, from the hard drive, and then into the video card. Until I brought it home and tried to do just that. I'm not sure if you could see it, and I doubt you could see it, but on the Molex plug, each one of those ends are keyed differently, squared to a half a moon, to ensure that it does plug into the intended receptacle. This is not keyed properly. So I thought, well, I'd whittle it away to make it fit, and then dorking with it, I noticed that the wire has a factory splice. The yellow wire, we have 2 taps coming out of the plug and then going into 3 wires here. No, 4 wires. Into that side of the plug. Now, without pulling a data sheet and studying and this and that and all that good stuff, I didn't think whittling this away to make it fit and take a chance of frying my new $600 video card is a wise thing. So I'm going to pause the video, the project, and I need to go tear apart everything, everywhere, trying to find that cable, my pouch that has the rest of my cables. My other option is, if I can't find it, then I'm going to have to contact Corsair and order me a new cable. Cables that came with this, with the card, well, I guess that could also be an option too. Run back down to my electronics store. They gave me 2 pigtails, and I think they're kind of retarded, but maybe they got their reasonings. They have an 8-pin on one side and then a Y connector with 2 6 PCI E cables. So I guess if I had to, I could run back down to my electronics store and see if they have something along the lines of this power adapter, wherever my camera's at, to dual 6-pin PCIEs. Anyway, long-winded story, I'm sure. So we're going to pause it here. I'll pick it back up when I have a better solution. Here I am many hours later from the last scene, and I was able to dig out my kit. Some of you are familiar with modular power supplies. You get a kit, and it's just all full of wires for your power supply and different applications. So I can now complete my wiring system, and I'm going to keep this right handy. A lot easier to reach for than what it was, trust me. I have the cables plugged into both ports of the card and into a slot in the power supply. Even though the computer is sitting on my workbench, I don't have it hooked up to a monitor, keyboard, mouse, anything like that. It's just the computer. I'm going to plug it into power and turn it on, and I thought that both you and I could experience the first boot, or at least try to experience the first boot. I'm hoping that these lights will go ahead and illuminate like it's supposed to. Now, I do have my back studio lights on, so hopefully they won't drown out this light show here. if there is a light show. I can't guarantee it. So I'm going to go ahead and plug the power supply into mains. I do have it killed here at the back switch, so let me turn that on. And let me throw the switch on the case. Before doing so, I went ahead and killed one of the sets of my studio lights behind me. I have one set going, so hopefully it's dark enough that we'll see something. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the big red switch. That's actually black on the faceplate. Some of you old school people recognize that reference to the big red switch. Here we go. Isn't that snazzy? That is kind of cool. Now let me go ahead and piece together the computer and get it stabbed back into place, and I'll come back to it and we'll try the test again in the computer's whatever that thing was, and in Adobe Premiere, and let's see what happens. Alright, a little bit of shaky cam. I thought before I assembled the computer back together I would give you a quick tour of the innards anyway, and take it from there. So here my power supply is a Corsair AX1200. That is a 1200 watt modular power supply. And then my new video card, which is an NVIDIA based 1070 Ti. Ti stands for overclocked. Well, I'm not sure exactly what the Ti stands for, but that's what it means anyway. And it's rendition FTW2 as opposed to FTW. For my audio card, I'll have to get you the exact number, but it is that. Yeah, I remember exactly what my audio card is. I will put that in post. The board is an Asus FT, not FT, let's see, Sabertooth 99FX. I believe this is revision 1 or something like that. CPU, you can't see it under there, but that is a 6-core AMD Black Edition. The sound card is Black Edition. Video card is Black Edition. This is the original fan that came with it. I'd actually bought one. Big, monstrous, humongous thing. Unfortunately, it hits my my RAM. So I just haven't got around to buying another, but I think I'm going to get a water-cooled one. And thought about maybe updating from a 6-core up to an 8-core CPU, but we'll see. And finally, the RAM. Can't see it, but that is, who makes that? Corsair. It's Vengeance. Again, I might have to put that in post. Anyway, that's a total of 32 gigs of RAM. And that's also overclocked edition. I never overclocked any of this. So that's overclock, overclock, overclock. The old one's also overclocked, but I never really overclocked them. Inside, I have 1, 2, 3 hard drives, and then mounted in here I have 1, 2 hard drives, and over on my desk I have a total of 5 USB hard drives. Fans, I've got a total of 2 fans in the power supply. I now have 2 independent two fans up here on the video card. Fan, 2 fans up here, and a big old fan there, and then I got one more on the side cover. So definitely a lot of wind. I've got 2 Blu-ray burners, and then a memory card reader. Not only do I have this sound card, but I also have the onboard sound card, and I do use the onboard sound card. I use that to bring in a input for a tape deck that I have sitting here on my desk as well. I'd show you that, but my desk right now is just like something exploded on it, all the pieces and parts I go in. I'm not going to show you that. You have to take my word. So I got that, and so I run that to the input of here so I could rip my cassettes, and then the output of my sound card goes to my Sony head unit, which is a STR DE935, and I forget exactly how many watts of power that is. It's 400 watts, and I got this running to it via copper, and the only reason I got it going via copper is I've got it running through an equalizer. But I do have the digital wires, and I will probably hook it up via digital and see what happens. Take advantage of the digital, I guess. At least play with it once. Alright, back to piecing this thing back together.